In the second chapter, verses 1 and 2, this is where both are speaking. And she says, I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. She says, I'm an ordinary flower. But he replies, honey, you're not a flower. You are a flower among thorns. Like a lily among thorns is my darling among the maidens. Now, I doubt that this woman was all that much more good-looking than the other 699 wives that Solomon had. Women were chosen for their beauty. But Solomon was not just speaking with his brain, he was speaking with his heart. And guys, when's the last time you really spoke with your heart? We speak with our wives all the time with our brain. Hey, yeah, you pick up the kids. I'm going to stop by the grocery store, get a half gallon of milk, anything else. That's brain talk. But when's the last time you really used your heart? Good example of when Jesus spoke with his heart was when he called the disciples to follow him. He spoke to Peter and Andrew and he said, come, follow me, and I will make you become fishers of men. Now there was something about that was magical. And it caused these two men to believe in themselves. Jesus spoke with his heart when he looked at Simon Peter and said, Peter, you are the rock. You are the rock of my disciples. You are the rock of my kingdom. I will build my church upon this kind of faith. Now, guys, if you go back to your second piece of advice to the women, where it was put your husband in his place, and you think that automatically because I preached this sermon that your wife is supposed to treat you like a queen, she ought to dump the garbage on you if you treat her just like a wife. You need to treat your wife like a girlfriend. Remember when you were dating? Man, you were always wanting to escape with her and to get her out of her misery. And you were going, it wouldn't matter if it was just for a couple of hours. You would get her out of the reality of life into a wonderful environment. And it was so wonderful. No problems, no pressures, no pains of everyday living. When's the last time you did that for your wife? You need to take her out of the everyday drudgery of mopping the floors and dealing with dirty diapers and runny noses and kids and homework and all that kind of stuff and say, honey, let's just go out, you and me. Now, David is going to cringe at this, but if you can't afford a babysitter, this church will hire you a babysitter because your marriage is important to us. We want you to stay together and to be a happy couple. So guys, transport your wife from her everyday world. And you know what I've learned? I can say to my wife, hey, you want to go to the river park? And we might stop at McDonald's on the way, or I might fix a bologna sandwich. But it's like dining in Paris. There are no dogs, no phones, no kids coming over saying, Mom, could you watch the kids for a few minutes? For 30 minutes or an hour, it's all about her. Advice to women. Number 3. Women, don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else. chapter 2, verse 3, like an apple tree among the trees of the forest is my lover among the young men. I delight to sit in his shade, and his fruit is sweet to my taste. You know what the number one complaint I've heard against husbands is? They don't talk. They grunt and nod their way through life. It's like caveman mentality. And the wife's supposed to read the grunts and the nods and know exactly what he wants. Guys, we need to communicate. We need to talk. And by talk, when I say talk, what women mean is not just carry on a conversation like talking like this, but they want to know how you feel about something. So you got to be willing to share your feelings. I've learned from my wife, if she walks in and says, we need to paint the bedroom. What color do you think? Now I'm going to say red, blue, green. That's not what she wants to hear. When she says, what color do you want to paint the bedroom? She wants me to say blue because it's so relaxing. Green because it reminds me of the Appalachian Trail. Red because that's my favorite colors. And then she'll paint it purple or something. It doesn't matter. But the point is, she wants to know what I think about something. And if I say to her just red or blue or green, she'll say, okay. And then she goes to work. She's in the office. And it's lunchtime, or it's the morning break. They're having coffee, and they're all standing around. And she says, I think I'm going to paint my bedroom this weekend. Be a nice weekend project. And one of the coworkers says, oh, that sounds like fun. What color are you going to paint it? Oh, that's my favorite color too. I love blue. When you get it finished? Yeah. I'd like to see it. And if you need some help, give me a call. I'll be glad to help paint. I'm pretty good with the roller. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else. I mean, how much plainer could the Word of God be? Because if you're going to sit under an apple tree, you're going to be affected by that apple tree. And just as Solomon's wife said, I sit, and what did she say? She experiences his shade. I mean, immediately his influence overpowers her life. And his fruit is sweet to my taste. Now, part of God's love is that he wants you to be in a loving relationship. It may be with your family. I don't believe that everyone has to be married. There's nothing wrong with being a single person. But you do need to be in some kind of loving relationship. So I pray that you and your family have good relationships. And if not, the starting place is your relationship with God. You go back to point one. And you start there because that's one love bank that no matter how much you mess up, you can never drain dry because he always puts more in. So if you want to be loved as you are, go to God. And as you feel secure in that love relationship, what you learn in your walk with Christ can help you in your walk with others. So men and women alike, what I'm saying to you is the best way to love your spouse is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind.